just misses the strike zone. Mike Bueno is 2 for 2. Drives the ball to left field. It is in for a base hit, and Sean Williams is going to score the state championship winning run.
All right, we're back here in the studio. This is the Legend Show episode 3. Got special guest, Coach Joe Ray Halsey, Andrews legend, here live in the studio, and I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Yes, my name is Joe Ray Halsey, Coach Halsey, and I'm proud to be a Mustang.
Hey, Coach, so I want to go ahead and go into this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I have 34-year coaching career, 586 total wins, 1999 4A state champion Andrews Mustangs, 2007 Texas High School Coaches Hall of Fame, and also this year in 2024 West Texas A&M Hall of Champions.
Weak class.
Wow. That's
Very
great
proud.
accomplishments, Coach.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and go right into this. So, Coach, this has always been my favorite question, but go ahead and give me a player or two, your favorite players growing up.
Well, Mickey Mantle was my favorite player. You know, he was everybody's at that era of time, and I liked. Let's see, Willie Mays, Duke Snyder, those guys.
Great collection of players. So, Coach, we're going to go ahead and go into it. Kind of let everybody out there know, like, where did you grow up and where did you go to high school?
I grew up in Perryton, Texas, and I went to Perryton High School, and I stayed there for a long time. Went back and coached there after I got out of college.
Okay. And, Coach, so when you were at Perryton in high school, they didn't have a baseball team. Is that correct?
No, they didn't have one. They didn't have one. So you did a little bit of everything. So, you know, you played football. I was a little too short for basketball. I tried out. They told me to come back later. And then we ran track and played tennis, that sort of thing. So I had a nice high school career. Everybody got to try different things, and it was enjoyable.
And never got in any trouble.
Oh, no, I can't say that. It was I think everybody got in their share of fair. You know, I tried real hard to stay pure as the fresh driven snow, but I think I failed miserably.
Well, Coach, so after Perryton High School, where did you attend college?
I attended West Texas State University at that time. Stayed there for several years. Tried to stay on a lot longer, but anyway, that's where I stayed.
They finally were ready to get.
They were ready to go. They said, you know, you've been here long enough, been in on the decade plan. It was time for you to go. I got a degree in biology there, and then I was fortunate enough to help coach the baseball team or be an assistant coach there for several years before I came here.
And so when you left there, you went back to Perryton for a couple of years.
I did. I surely did. And that was probably a mistake. Like I said before, you know, it's hard to return to your hometown. You know, there's too many. Some people have not forgiven you, even though they go to church regular, and so.
So when you left Perryton, that's when you come to Andrews?
Yes, I did.
And
sure did.
and what year did you come to Andrews?
73.
Okay. In 1973. And so let's go ahead and fast forward. So from 73 until you got to that 99 season, was there a couple of teams in that time period that really stood out to you?
Well, obviously the 99 team did. It was pretty good. But the 1990 team was a good team. 85 was a good team. 98 was a good team. 99. Let's see. There were a lot of good teams there, but those are the ones that I remember the most.
And is there any other players from some of those other teams before 99 that you would like to give a shout out to?
Well, yeah, obviously, you know, before the 85 team, when I first started, we did pretty good, but we didn't have a really great impact. But But by the time '84 came around, we got better immediately. We had some great players back there, Floyd Cornejo and Judy Gonzalez, and I'll probably miss a few, but that was a really good starter. And then the next year was in '85 was Shea Morris and that group of guys that were obviously Shea was a great player. And then in '90 was Lethingwell and Brent Lethingwell and Jesse Armandaris. One thing about Lethingwell, he was a tough guy. That was back in the days when when you failed, you were out for six weeks. We had 3 really good pitchers, but by the time we got there, some of them had a hard time with Beowulf and some other things, and they didn't quite make it. And Lethingwell pitched the rest. He pitched almost every game till we got to the state tournament. And I might say that I think he might have had a fractured ankle. Fact is, I'm pretty sure he did. We just kind of overlooked it.
Well, Coach.
And then there was Jamie Emiliano, and that was really precious to my heart. He pitched so well and did well when he got out of high school and then came back and helped us. There was Larry Martin Jr. that was an excellent pitcher. We were really blessed with lots of good pitchers, and we had a lot of good players. And I've said this before, I want to say it again. The Little League and the Pony League here are excellent. And so they helped those guys. They kept them involved. They kept them wanting to play baseball. So when they came to high school, they had some skills, so it made it a lot easier.
Well, Coach, now in our conversation, so fast forwarding to the '99 season. So when you first come to Andrews, and did you ever think forward and imagine, like, we have a real good shot at winning state someday? Did you ever think about that? Or I know the goal is always to win as many games as possible.
I'm just trying to survive the first couple, but as things got better and we kind of got in a rhythm, things began to get better. From, like I said, from about '84, then there's a run in there where we won lots of games. And I'd like to say it was, all coaching. That's a lie. We had great players, and we had players that wanted to win. And every year they got better and better and better. And the next year wanted to do better than the one in front of them. And so the pinnacle, of course, was 1999. Those guys were tremendous, but I think they could kind of see that there was a will, there was a destiny to try to get there, because we got there 3 times, should have gotten there 5 times, and we got there the last time. They were determined to not only get there, but to win it. That was kind of one of their goals.
I tell you what, that was and that team was got to see them even through Babe Ruth and Little League. And me being a little bit older, I got to watch those guys, and they always played coming up with each other. And
I mean, they were special. If you just look at that lineup, and you can look at any of them, there's not a out in that group. They could all hit real well. I mean, we got people hitting in the 7 and the 8 hole that probably could have been 4 or 5 on some other teams. And then,
well, now that you're talking about that, Coach, I did have some stats from that season, and this was going into the Weatherford series, and which I believe was at the regional finals, and from that year, I just want to go over some of these because I had seen them and I was like, wow. But you were talking about how good a hitters in the lineup, but the team batting average going into that was .352, and I think the top 4 hitters. I think Shad his average was at 452 going into that tournament. Going into that series. Pitkin was 432. August Lewis was 419, and PJ was 402. And then I think it said 67 doubles as a team going into that series, 16 triples as a team, and 38 home runs going into that series. And
it caused me to have rotator cuff problems waving them in.
And I since I'm on that, I'm going to go ahead and going into that regional final. Pitcher Chris Trevino was 11-1. PJ was 11-1. PJ Lewis, and then August Lewis was actually record of 6-0 with 3 saves, and I think Trevino's ERA was .97, and PJ was a 3.09 going into that series, and August Lewis, I believe, was a 2.43 ERA. That's very impressive.
It is, and we had a major position change right before we started that. We had a catcher, and he was a good one, but we needed somebody that would take charge behind the plate, and that when he went out to the pitchers, they were familiar with him, and they enjoyed him, and they trusted him. And we moved August, which was the third baseman all those years, to catch. And I remember the conversation I had with him. You ever caught? Well, kind of. What do you think? I'd sure like to give it a try. Well, it turned out to be the best move that we made, and we replaced him with one of the best infielders we had was Joe Sanchez. So that move that we had catching-wise, I think, helped us a great deal.
Well, Coach, can I go ahead and can I read off that roster that
Sure.
I have from that year and just make sure I have it right? So Brandon Long, which I believe he's coaching up in Brownwood now, Gerald Bueno, Joe Sanchez, Shad Williams, Jeremy Pipkin, Michael Hudgens, P.J. Lewis, Chris Trevino, August Lewis, Adrian De La Cruz, Chris Ramirez, Brian Holt, Roger Horton, Huber Rodriguez, Derek Hicks, Dusty Mason, and Scott Kello. And am I leaving anybody off of that list?
No, I think that's it.
And that is a fantastic group of young men, and very awesome what y'all were able to do that year.
And they all got along pretty well. As far as I could tell, there wasn't too many fights going on in there, and that says a lot. So they were incredible. Good team unity.
I tell you what, you were the coach that could corral P.J. Lewis, and I'll tell you what, and that's pretty impressive. and going into that, we're going to go ahead and go right into our next interview. And right here to my right, we have the Andrews pitcher one of the pitchers from the 1999 team. P.J. Lewis is live in the studio. P.J., thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And let's go. We're going to go ahead and dive right into the interview,
Right.
P.J. And why don't we go ahead and start? You tell me who's your favorite baseball player of all time.
I got 2. So I got like a overall player and a pitcher. So my overall player would be Babe Ruth because, he's just Babe Ruth. But he also pitched, so we kind of did outfield, pitched. And one thing I heard that he did when he pitched was he stuck his tongue out. And, back in my day when I was pitching, I stuck my tongue out as well. And I couldn't help it. And there's pictures. It's, hopefully we can get rid of those someday. But, that's why Babe Ruth is probably my number 1 player of all time. But my pitcher would be Nolan Ryan. He was just, dominating. He was everything I wanted to be as a pitcher. I wanted to strike people out, get wins, throw hard. One of his sayings he had was, "It helps if the batter thinks you're a little crazy," and that kind of stuck with me because I was a little crazy back then, a little wild, and relied on my pick off a lot. But once I got settled down, did all right for myself. So yeah, Babe Ruth and Nolan Ryan are my favorite players.
And so on the 99 that season, what all positions did you play?
I was primarily a pitcher. I also played right field when I wasn't pitching, and I played a little first base. So I always got to warm up in the outfield, come in to take some infield when I wasn't pitching, and it was just fun for me. I like to play, anywhere coach would let me. So yeah, right field, first base, and pitcher.
All right, so that state championship run in 99, I want you, if you can only pick one team, who was the toughest team that you faced that year?
One team, just overall talent, offensively and defensively. I'd have to give it to Kyle Allen because they were tough. They were always, I think they had numerous trips to state and still do, in modern day. They were just tough, and if we didn't play, lights out, we would have lost that. So Kyle Allen, yeah, they were the toughest team I think we played.
So in the state championship game, if I remember right, I actually I got to listen to the last inning on the radio my recollection is in that last inning, Shad Williams had walked and got on first and stole second. Okay. So, and Gerald Bueno gets a hit down the left field line, and Shad comes across to win the game. But you have a little story about that, about Gerald at that at bat. I'd like to hear more about that.
Yeah, right when Shad got on first and then he stole. We looked over and we always looked at coach, see what he was going to give, if they're going to steal or bunt or whatever. Well, he gave Gerald the bunt signal, and we look at Gerald and we're like, okay, man, he's one of the best bunters, one of the best hitters on the team, and he he didn't do it. He didn't square up to bunt on that one pitch, and so we all kind of in the dugout looked at each other like, oh my gosh. He just told coach no, and that's just one thing he didn't do. You don't tell coach no or you're running some foul poles. I think he gave him the signal again, and Gerald was adamant and he wanted to hit. So coach just said, all right, well, good luck. You better make something out of this one. So whenever Gerald got that hit, it was just almost like everything went in slow motion. We just all started gravitating toward home plate. Just excitement, happiness, just everything was flowing out of all of us. I mean, as we were approaching the plate and dogpiling each other, and the happiness led to tears of happiness, and it was just overwhelming. It was, like I said, just slow motion. Just everything we ever worked for, culminated at that moment at home plate. Whether it was for us as players, what we all worked for 4 years to try to accomplish, ultimate goal, win state. That's what we did, and it just all came to fruition right there. We didn't let coach down. He had a lot of support in bringing us up and, doing the right thing, making the right calls, and, it was just overwhelming. I can't really describe exactly how it was. Hopefully I'll get to experience something like that again, but, it was just one of the best feelings ever, and I'll never forget it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
One thing we might say, but Shad, they walked him. So people thought, well, this is, he's going to steal. I remember looking at Shad and said, do you think you want to go? He said, I'm not real sure. But Gerald set it up really well. And you'll go back and look at that. He got in his stance, and he kept hitting the catcher with his bat on the shin guards. And he kept telling the umpire, back him up, because I got to take my swing. But what that was doing, it was giving him it was going to give Shad some extra time to get there, probably like he needed it. But anyway, he did a good job of moving him back at least this far from where he was, which gave Shad that much more room.
Oh, wow.
So he did, we can talk about his bunting skills, but he did get him back enough to where the guy Shad had a chance to steal it pretty well.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
To conclude the interview, PJ, is there anybody out there that you want to give a special shout out to? It could be anybody you want.
Yeah, just the entire, 99 state team. Y'all know who y'all are. Love you guys. We all did it as a team, and, it was something really special to be a part of. All the fans, the community, they were really behind us. Of course, Coach Halsey, I don't think we could have done anything without him. All our coaching staff, even, the people that came and, sprained an ankle, they'd fix us up, But if we didn't have the community that we have, Andrews being Andrews, I don't think it might have been a different outcome. But we always had, the support from everybody, people who are no longer with us that helped us, like Jamie Emiliano, Larry Martin Sr., kind of a funny story. When I was a freshman, kind of got in trouble, fought a little bit in high school, and I remember accidentally on the old baseball field, there's a gate, and I got mad, I think at Lance Martin, Buddha, and I kicked the gate open, and it swung over and hit his little red truck. I mean, it was a beater, but he got like instantly mad, and I remember, Larry Martin Sr. came over, what the heck is wrong with you, blah, blah. And, after that, I think he kind of took me under his wing a little bit too. And, he believed in me and kind of straightened me out. He was, other than my parents, trying to straighten me out, but he really stepped up and kind of gave me that tough love that I really needed. And I'll never forget him for that. And just everybody, Lance Martin Jr., just any Mustang I ever played with, all the Mustangs, it's a family. And, this is as much as Andrew's title as it is just the state, 99 team. So.
Well, PJ, we appreciate you coming on, doing the interview, and we thank you for everything that you did and everything that you continue to do. You're still here in the community and giving back, and you're down in the Andrews Youth Baseball Association, and we appreciate that. And thank you for coming on, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, we're back here in the next segment here of the Legend Show, Episode 3, and we're going to have a little fun here, and I've got two gentlemen, players from the 1999 State Championship Andrews Mustangs that are here live in the studio, and they're going to get one opportunity to tell one story from that 1999 season. And I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. August Lewis go ahead and introduce himself, and he can tell his story.
Yeah, name's August Lewis, 1999 catcher, sitting next to Corporal Joe Sanchez. But I know you said make it about the 99 season, but honestly, if this probably wouldn't have happened, I might not even been on the 99 season. So it was it was our freshman year. I got moved up to varsity, and we had a first district game, and I was actually going to get to start that game. And so I remember Coach Halsey told us to be at the bus at lunch. I said, okay, after lunch, okay, no problem. And everybody knows my grandma worked at the cafeteria, so every day she'd bring something home, and I'd go to her house and eat. And then so I went to my grandma's and I ate, super pumped up, super excited. And I go to the field house and I'm sitting there. Oh, dang, I'm early. I'm sitting there. And I say, well, look at the time. I say, well, everybody should be here by now. And I sat in that room for a good hour, I bet. And so I said, well, being a good student, I just actually went back to class, to Miss Moose's class, and she says, didn't you have a baseball game today? I said, yeah, I think I missed the bus. And so I remember, so sure enough, I missed the bus because we were leaving before lunch. And so I missed that bus, and the next day at practice, I can remember, and what was it?
Coach Wildy?
Was it Wilding?
Mm-hmm. Coach.
And I remember
Freshman year, Coach Petty.
Petty, yeah. So yeah, Coach Petty was over there, and so
Coach Petty.
after that day, I was supposed to go throw BP to those guys, and I was in the bullpen warming up. And I remember Coach Petty comes over and says, "Hey, Coach Halsey, can I get August? We're ready for him." He said, "Yeah, take him and keep his." He said, "He's off the team." Oh, okay. I said, "Well, there's the reality check that I needed." So from then on, I try not to I did get in trouble, but, it was nothing bad. And from then on, I just was, I was going to do everything to please Coach Halsey. And I think that all of us being here is a testament to, what he means to all of us. And I knew I wasn't going to get emotional, but, it happened. So, but, without that experience right there, who knows if I would have just coasted through and not gave it my all. But, that one disappointment right there really just lit the fire for me to continue on. So
I think that's a great testament. The great Coach was. It didn't matter who you were. We all knew how talented August was as a freshman. We knew how good he was. And so when he was on varsity, we knew he earned it. It wasn't just given because he was good. But we also knew that when Coach spoke, he meant what he meant, And I think after that, I think August was early to every road trip.
yeah, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
And so, like,
I do. Yeah, it seemed like the thing to do at the time. It's Anyway, I do remember it very vividly, and I felt bad about that afterwards because you never know how they're going to take that. If he'd have left, that would have been a real loss for us. But I'm glad he didn't. But like you said, everybody in here shared that. and probably everyone in here could tell that same story that I might have been ugly to some of you, but it wasn't because I didn't like you. You know, I really wanted you to do better because you had the ability. You know, if you have excellent ability and you have great chances to succeed, and I could see kind of what they could do because they were very talented. I did not want them to cheat themselves. And so that's probably the reason why I did that. That, and I wanted the best out of them. And, you know, it's like anything else. That's the reason why you have coaches. If you want to get ready to do something, you're only going to go so far, and then you're going to say that's enough for the day. Oh, no, it isn't. We got somebody else there to say, no, you're going to go further because you can do and you can excel. And that's what I saw in August and Joe and all the rest that'll be up here, and PJ and Gerald and Chris. All those guys could excel. They all had really good stuff. They just needed maybe they just need a little inspiration once in a while. And so,
I want to tell a real quick story. It's not my favorite story, but it's a real quick story about that. Going into our senior year, Coach had me, I think he had each one of us going to his office to talk to us one-on-one. And I went in there, and I had no idea. I was like, man, it's my senior year. Am I going to get cut my senior year? And I go in there, and he gets a piece of paper, and he just draws a simple box. You know, and he tells me, Joe, that's how good you are. And that's as good as you'll ever be. You know, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you're the coach. I guess that's how good I'll ever be. You know, in the back of my mind, I was like, well, I think I can be better than that, you know. But he goes, and you know who drew that box there? He goes, you did. He goes, you're the one that put the lines there. Only you can define how good you can be and how good your senior year can be. And, you know, we all have those stories where coach was kind of rough on us, but it's because he believed in us. But in those moments, if it wasn't for that day where coach talked to me, I probably wouldn't have been half as good as what I was that senior year. But he just had a way to reach kids, and he knew how to push them. And he'd run us, and he'd always tell us the only mammal that could run itself to death is a horse. He goes, so you just faint, get back up, and do it again. You know, so, I mean, those are some great stuff. But, I mean, he pushed us. He pushed us, and we didn't break. We didn't break in his, you know, we couldn't break because we knew he wouldn't break. And so I think he's just one of he's a Hall of Famer, but he's probably the greatest coach I've ever had in my life and been around.
And unfortunately, kids are not going to get to experience that type of coaching these days. It was just a different animal.
Different time. Absolutely. And Mr. Sanchez, what is your favorite story?
Oh, man. I could go with Defend the Fort. I could go with getting my throat hit really hard at the state championship. But I'm going to go with 20 pop-ups because I think that just kind of defines who we were as a team. The year before our junior year, we lost to Friendship. We lost to Friendship. Mm-hmm. I think we took the lead in that game, and we were down to the last inning, and we dropped a pop fly between three guys. I'm not going to call out names, but it was probably a pop fly that probably should have been caught if somebody was just taking charge. And we end up giving a home run to somebody that probably shouldn't have been at the plate, and we lose that game. And, I mean, I know we all felt it. We all felt it that summer. Like Coach said earlier, like we were on a mission. And that year from the fall, when we were in fall ball, it was, before every practice, almost felt like it was 20 pop-ups. And I've never met a man handle a fungal the way Coach Ozzie did. He could put that ball anywhere he wanted, pop fly. I mean, I remember one time he hit me a pop fly in foul territory, and I literally caught it, and my glove had a cut on the glove where I caught up against the dugout, on the ceiling of the dugout. Like I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but I mean, it was right there. And Robert Bowden, shout out to you. Every time we were down to like 19 pop-ups, he had to call Robert Bowden out, and he had to get him the pop-up, and he had to catch it before. But if we messed up, it was back down to 0, you know. But it was just like reliving. Every time we were at 19, 18, 17, and we dropped the pop fly, it was reliving that loss that we had the year before. I know if we would have won that game, I know we would have won the state championship that year also. But he just had a way to. We didn't lose. I felt we would lose. Obviously, there was losses, but he used them in learning experiences, you know. And so we would always come back the next time to learn from that experience. You know, we had lost to Friendship game 1, And then the following year, we played Estacado, lost game 1, and he brought it up to us. He goes, "Is that what you want to do again?" And so he just knew how to push the right buttons. He just almost knew he wasn't just a coach, but he was a psychologist as well, and he knew how to work with teenagers and get us to give our best effort at all times.
You how to direct the ship.
Oh yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys. We're glad that y'all come on the show, and I know we are very fortunate. We're very fortunate to get let us do this show, and that you guys are be here, because without you guys, we wouldn't have anything. So we appreciate y'all coming on, and thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And one more thing.
Oh, yes, sir.
I know Shad's gonna watch this.
Yeah.
And I know we all know you're doing pretty good these days, so I'm gonna get Holt's address, and I want you to send him that $250 you owe him.
Oh, from a
And both of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Brian Ho, August is getting that money for you.
All right, we're back here in the studio. This is Legend Show episode 3, and we've got 2 more former players from the 1999 state championship Andrews Mustangs baseball team, and I've got Gerald Bueno here to my right, and they're going to go ahead and introduce themselves, and they're going to share a story with you from that season or while they were in the program.
Geraldo Bueno, second baseman for the 99 state team. First of all, I want to thank Chase and Chris and everybody else who's made this possible to honor Coach Hawsey, who I hold to a high regard in life. Coach and I didn't always see eye to eye, hence getting kicked out of practice a couple of times, hence getting sit on the bench a couple of times, hence getting pulled out of games for doing certain things. But like Joe and other people spoke earlier, Coach did everything out of his own heart. He chose us over himself. In a world that you can go back and look at what we're moving into, Coach did not care what anybody said about him, because he knew what he was doing for us was what's best for us. So a man that will put himself on a back burner for a young man like us has to be somebody special. So thank y'all for what y'all doing for him, for us as a team, for us as a community, kind of show what you're able to do when you have a village that's together, and you have a man like him that's willing to lead it, because I know it wasn't easy. Props to y'all for doing that, and thank y'all for allowing us to be here and do those things.
You're welcome. Thank you. We love doing this, and we appreciate you guys.
So my story, there's a lot. There's too many stories going back from our freshman year to our senior year. I guess I'll speak as a personal one. Our senior year, our first 10 games or so, I was struggling, hitting, doing some of those things. We're in the friendship tournament. I'm 0 for 3. I ground out. I get to first. I say a word I'm not supposed to say. And next game, he pulls me out, sits me on the bench, and I still remember, I believe we're playing Canyon Randall, where we go, where bowling comes in, shuts them down, do some of these things. And we have a chance to win the game, like 3 innings in a row. And so I put my batting gloves on, I go back, go stand by, and not one time did he look at me to put me in. And what that showed me, just like going back to August when he was freshman, is kind of a wake-up call to what it is of how selfless you have to become in order to become a group like we did. From there on out, he let me pitch the next game, which was the championship game, I believe. We ended up throwing a no-hitter in that game, and then we just go through district and do what we do. My batting average went from 280-something to about 4-something at the end of the year of what it is. But that's a testimony of what steps he took for us, and the difficult steps. Like, because I have a chance to talk to him all the time, or when I get a chance to talk to him, he will say, man, at the time I thought it was, no, at the time it was, and at this time it still is, of the discipline he was able to put within us that made this run possible of what it was. So there's many of stories of what it was, and not all of them are like that. There's a lot of great stories, singing the national anthem in a blizzard, having good times like that, But it's just that discipline that he was able to display within us that allowed us to do some of those things. So, to that year, there was basically 10 of us that played a lot, right? But the guys behind the scene, the Roger Hortons, the Robert Boldings, the Kellos, the Masons, and Hubers, those guys, the Ramirez's, two bodies, those people behind the scene that gave us true looks on running, that pushed us, that were our backups, that did some of those things. You have to have those things as a team in order to do it. And not just them, their parents. We didn't have any parents that would say, well, my son ain't playing, I'm not going to show up. We had all their parents, and they all supported us, and I think that really gave that unity that we needed to guide. So that's a shout out to those people, because these days we don't look at those people. We don't think they contribute, but they contribute more than we could ever imagine. So those people, thank you for what they did. They never set back. They always pushed us and did some of those things. So you got to give those people credit for sticking behind us, the guys behind the doors and stuff. So
yeah, they did. You remember? Didn't we have a challenge? What was it Monday or Thursday? I can't remember. Where we'd say, okay, we're dividing up in two teams.
Yes.
You guys, we're going to let you play. You guys that don't get to play very much, we're going to let you get after them. We're going to play 5 innings, and if you beat them, by God, you get to start. And not only that, we're going to make some other rules, and that was designed to bring the best out of you, but also give them an opportunity to push you, because they did. They wanted your job, and so that was the reason behind that. We wanted to make sure they had an opportunity. We always say that, but they had a legitimate opportunity every week to do it. And y'all were good enough that you answered it and went on with it. There were times when you were behind, and I was thinking, sir, this is the way it's going to this is the way it's going to be. Is there sand blowing somewhere? No. No, you answered it all the time, but they did, and I appreciate what you said about them. They were good, and they were good the next year as well.
Yes, sir.
Because of what y'all did for them.
Well, guys, we appreciate y'all coming on, and now we're moving towards the end of the episode. We're gonna go ahead and have you guys. We got some gifts here for Coach Halsey. We're gonna have everybody come up here, and Chris, did you get the other deal too?
No, I can't.
We got 2 gifts for you, Coach, that we'll have everybody come in. And so the old baseball field here in Andrews, they have the new baseball field that was built. And when the city, when they had the old field was tore down, this was given to P.J. Lewis, which was the actual home plate from that old field.
Really? Well,
And we wanted to give that to you. And PJ, it was his idea. And then since you come on the Legend Show, I had this shirt made for you. And that's for you, and because you are a legend here in Andrews. And we appreciate
only because
you.
of these guys. But that's true. Well, thank you very
And
much.
if we could have all
That's
you guys
very
move
nice.
into the shot real quick.
That's a neat deal about the plate. That's real good. We'll all have to sign that at the end there.
It's a little heavy, Coach, but
Well, that's
I saw him tearing it down,
yeah. Well, I'm glad you got that. That's wonderful.
I grabbed the first base also.
Yeah. How about that stuff we buried out in the center field?
They couldn't find it. They couldn't find it the
They
next
couldn't
year.
find it?
But yeah, I just thought, nobody should have it, but you. So
Well, thank you. Thank you very
my
much.
coworkers had it, and he graciously just gave it to me to give it to you. And
Well, thank you very much.
you love Andrews. And,
Oh yeah, that means a lot.
yeah, you always know where home is.
Yeah, I always know where. Hey, that's good. That's it. Yeah, we will.
Jay came up with something good.
Well, so this is gonna conclude the Legend Show episode 3. We appreciate all the players that were involved in this. We appreciate Coach Halsey, you coming here, taking your time. We can't say enough how much we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we appreciate everybody out there that's behind the scenes. Like I know that Coach Bueno was talking about. It takes a village. It takes a community. It takes everybody to come together for any of this stuff to happen. Luckily, Andrews, Texas, the stars aligned and the players and the coach and everything come together all at the right time. We appreciate all of you. Coach, view it on my cell phone.
I'm glad it's a big one. That's it.
Andrews Mustangs. Hey, this is Roger Horton, a very proud member of the 1999 state championship Andrews Mustang baseball team. I played backup second base and loved to get in the batter's box whenever Coach Halsey would let me in. Coach Halsey, congratulations again on 25-year anniversary for that amazing season. I will never forget it as long as I live, and it is the most fun that I've ever had on a baseball diamond. It's been an amazing 25 years, always being able to remember that, and I will never forget the day that you had me go put on the catcher's gear to get into the batter's box and squeeze the plate, and I almost made it through unscathed until I took one right to the back. It was a fun time. I will never forget it. Andrews Mustangs for life. Go Mustangs.
Coach Halsey, we love you, man. 99 state champs forever.
Hey, Coach. I know I can speak for all of us when I say that even though we didn't know it at the time, you taught us just as much about life as you did about baseball. Thank you for that.
Hey, Coach Halsey. So proud to be part of that 1999 state championship team. That was such a fun ride. I just want to say thanks for everything you did for us. Love you, Coach.
Coach Halsey, it's Tyson Beaver. You've been a difference maker in my life on and off the field, and just want to take the opportunity again to say thank you for what you've done for me and what you did for all of us there in Andrews.
And I want to personally thank you for the personal conversations that you and I have had. I know there was a point in time during that 99 season where I was struggling real bad. I couldn't hit, I couldn't field, I couldn't throw. I couldn't do anything. And it was like I had never played baseball a day in my life. And I'll never be able to express to you how much those conversations that you and I had during that time I was struggling, how much those conversations meant to me and how much they helped me throughout the rest of my career. Because later in my career when I struggled, I often reverted back to those one-on-one conversations that you and I would have, whether it was sitting on the bus, whether it was in the dugout after a game. So I'll never be able to put into words, you know, how much those conversations meant to me and how much they helped me. So I think I speak for everybody that was a part of that special season. We owe you so much. We're forever indebted to you. We wouldn't have been able to do what we were able to do without you. So thank you for leading us. Thank you for being a great example of what a coach is. And thank you for being our coach. Love you, Coach.
Well, that's pretty hard to beat there, isn't it?
That is cool.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you can tell good stories on all those guys. They were all good. So, well, thank you for that. That's really nice.
All right, this is going to conclude the Legend Show, Episode 3. We want to appreciate and say a great thank you to Daniel Montoya with Monument Realty and the Andrews Mustangs, the former players that come in, Coach Joe Ray Halsey that's here. We can't thank them enough. And always remember, folks, it's a great day to be a Mustang.
We got it. I'm happy for Coach Halsey and the rest of the guys on the team. We did it. We're number one in the state. We're state champs. Represent West Texas, baby. You saw that ball hit? You let that ball fast in your life? No. I don't think I've ever ran so fast in my life. I just thank God that I made it. State champs, baby. State champs. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. It's the greatest feeling I've ever felt, and I had to come back from yesterday going over it, and today I just came out and battled. They gave us a heck of a game, and this feels so great. This team's battled all year long and finally get the big one. Yes, sir. We battled since the beginning. We said we wanted to make it to the big show, and we finally made it here, and we came through with the victory.
Third time here, three's a charm, eh?
Yes, sir. I guess so. I guess that's what I say. Thank Lord that He gave us the skill and the talents and power there to get here, and He gave us the great victory today.
Finally, it's all good.
Y'all, all good. That's better than good. It's great. Man, that's the best feeling in the world. You wouldn't know it.
Thank you.
How are your thoughts, Coach?
Just wonderful. Great job by everybody out there. Just wonderful feeling. Ecstatic. First time ever. I just can't say enough about the enthusiasm and they won't quit. It's a great team over there. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable finish also.
Yes, it was. Right down to the end, looked like a Hollywood script, didn't it?
One more question.
Wasn't a Class B movie either. This was a good one.
Coach, we talked to you earlier in the week. You said maybe three's a charm. The charm is here.
Yeah, the charm's here. Third time's a charm. Excellent bunch of guys. Won't quit. That's all you ever ask is for a chance, and they did it. And boy, am I proud of
And now the champion, the Andrews Mustangs.
Hey, cheer up, baby! Get up in here! Yeah, baby! Yeah!